Hello, everyone, and this time not in German but in English because we have our first English-speaking guest today, and we are very happy to have you on this episode today, Bastien, on the Commission Corner. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me. I try my best with the English, but I think everyone will understand that I'm French and French is my first language.
Yeah, so it's the first time to go internationally with the Commission Corner podcast. So it's very cool and an honor to have you here. Maybe you can give you a quick introduction, Bastien, to who you are and what is your role.
Sure. So I work at Swan. It's been 2 years now. I'm a business and engineering graduate. I joined first the venture capital industry. I did few internships, but then I decided to like that I wanted a bit more operational role because I was feeling a bit out of the ground working in finance in VC. And I started my career in a ride-hailing company that was based in London. It's called Willy, and I was working in the French market, and then decided to move to Swan, which is a banking platform. But we can discuss about Swan a bit more. My job today is a senior revenue operation manager. So basically, trying to optimize the process for the go-to-market team across the company.
Very interesting. Maybe for those of you that do not know what RevOps actually entail, maybe you can describe what your role is and why you decided to go this path.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, the RevOps person is the go-to person for anything that is around data for the go-to-market team, around process. So how to work better, like from the marketing to the sales to the account manager roles, everything that is relating to tooling. So first we analyze that there is maybe a leak somewhere in our sales process. Then we optimize it with a process, and along the optimization with process, there might be the implementation of a tool, rather it's a video recording tool, rather it's a CRM or even a commission platform. And obviously one of my also day-to-day job is the enablement, because it's good to have process, it's good to have new tools, but if you don't train your teams, then like this is a lack of value. So basically, yeah, I think the main 4 pillars of the RevOps role today are around the data, process, enablement, and tooling. And why? Oh yeah, sorry, Gregor.
Yeah, no, continue. I will have a follow-up question for that.
Okay, right. And why I decided to jump into this role? First, I like to be across several teams. I think in RevOps, you always have this mindset of like, okay, I've identified that there is a pain somewhere internally, and I need to fix it. And that's what I really like. You also discuss a lot with several stakeholders internally, not only in the go-to-market team, but also with the product people, with the strategy team. I also discussing with the C-levels quite extensively, and that gives me like really the feeling to work on different scope and not to have like a super strict day-to-day that I have no routine basically.
So it sounds like you are the connector and the database for decision making for the entire revenue organization. And you mentioned that most of the data is in the sales organization. But talking about revenue operations, some of the revenue is generated by marketing. Is that something that you also cover, or is it a sales only operations role?
No. I try to really connect all the dots from marketing and sales and then account management. So yeah, attribution is one of the key focus I have. At Swan, it's slightly specific because we have enterprise sales cycle. So the attribution is not always super clear on like, okay, is it the marketing impact or is it the sales impact? So we try to put some attribution process, but no, really it's all the scope. And I didn't mention it, but yeah, we are working a lot with the finance team as well on the revenue side and on the data side as well.
Understood. Since you already mentioned Swan briefly, do you mind to elaborate what Swan really is about? So you mentioned it's a fintech, but which pain or problem do you actually solve out there?
Yeah, sure. So for the German speakers there, they might know Solaris Bank, which is one of the main competitors that we have in Germany. But basically, we are a white label platform that enables any software serving B2B companies to embed accounts, cards, payment solution into their product. And basically, they can develop a branded banking offer without handling all the complexity that is due to legal regulation, compliance, technical difficulties. We handle all these parts, and we basically just give you the white label, and that increase the customer engagement because I didn't talk about our ICP, but when you're working on a accounting software, that's one of our main focus. You might connect yourself like twice a week to your account, but when you add banking solution to your software, you from the beginning you increase the engagement and can like basically some people are using their bank and connect to their bank every day. We also add new revenue streams to your platform because we have a specific model that enable us to share some of our revenue to the partners. That's what we call interchange. We also share our revenue on the deposit that they have on our platform. And it's an all-in-one platform. So instead of going to your bank, you basically can like do it directly from your software. So it's the overall customer experience that is enabled with us.
Oh, and you mentioned during the first part of your introduction that the key part of your role is to manage attribution from like prospects to customers on your sales organization or marketing organization. And in that scope, you also mentioned that you sell to enterprise customers a lot. When I think of banking as a service or white labeled solutions, I think of startups first. Is it the main focus to sell to startups or to enterprise? Or what is your ICP?
So Swan is now a 6 years old company. So I think as any startup, we started selling to the startups. Those are the innovators. They are like easier to convince. They see the value straight away from our product. And some of our key account like partners that we work with today embedded Swan like 4 to 5 years ago. Today, as we are moving up market, we are now a 300 people company. We have raised more than 100 million. So now we have established the strong foundation. We served most of the startups, and we are really moving like to leading players in their fields. So those are like CAC 40 companies, like big players. Obviously, the sales cycle grew by a lot. This definitely has also as a different sales motion. Product-wise, it has a big impact as well because like you can't really promise them a new feature in 3 months if it's not already in your roadmap. Like everything becomes a bit more complex, but those accounts, that's also where the money is, and where to grow our existing customer base through those accounts. So you might have seen that we recently published that we signed Cegid, which is a leading player into the accounting firm softwares. So that's a big win for us, and we are quite proud of this partnership.
Amazing. And since you already signed Cegid, can you also say what an average deal size is for you? Is it 6 figures or is it even 7 figures for you?
So at the moment, it's a bit hard to tell because we are mostly usage based. So basically, we're selling to the partners. So say Cegid, for example, but then they have to embed our product and sell it to their own customers. So Cegid in total is 1.6 million user. So if we have like an average ARPU, sorry, I don't know the English, but average revenue per user of like 10 to 15 euros, that could be a multi-million deal. Obviously, you can't go from 0 to 1.6 million. It takes it takes a lot of time. So I would say that the deals that we are signing now are definitely six figures, but hopefully in the future they will transform in seven figures. In seven figures, if the product is following, if we are launching new features, and if we are growing with the partner. And as you might have noticed, we call them partners and not customers, because we are really building something together, as enabling like creating a new product stream within Swan and within their banking is definitely like something that might change the way they work, the way they make revenue. Like some of our top partners, they generate up to 20% of their revenue through Swan. So that has definitely a big impact on their like P&L and so on.
Amazing. I mean, looking forward to you realizing the seven-figure deals. And I mean, since you already mentioned that you see your customer not as customers, but rather as partners, is this also reflected in the sales process? I guess your sales process is more or less displayed in the CRM system with the certain stages. Maybe you can tell us a bit about how you approach sales at Swan.
So definitely, so selling to partners is basically a traditional B2B sales. So we have several meetings, extensive discussion on contracting. It takes like now our average deal is more than 6 months. But that's any enterprise deal basically. But where really we have like differences between other companies is like trying to sell to the end user, so the customer of our partner. So if it's not clear, but basically the customer of Cegid, and that's where our account management has a big role to play, and they have on their side also a sales funnel that they are following. And our marketing team is not only working on selling to partners, but also on how to sell to the end user. And that's why we are like calling them partners, as I was mentioning before, because we are involved in their product roadmap. We are involved in their strategic decision, like a meeting, where everything has to have an impact on like, okay, how to make more retention on your product, how to increase the conversion of people, like creating an account, etc. So selling to partners, it's a B2B sales cycle, but then selling to an end customer is a really different topic, and that's where we have an impact with our marketing and account management team.
And along that sales process, are you utilizing any AI tools? Also, maybe within your own working week, is there AI in your process incorporated?
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty bad at my job if I was telling you now. And now it's becoming, I think, mandatory if you want to perform as a startup or scale up, or like any company now is using AI. So the main tools that we are using AI with, as in the sales, like in the overall organization, are meeting recording tool. Now it became mandatory for anyone to use it for internal and external meeting, because like when you have 6 people in a room for 1 hour, and then you have like no output and no next step, and like not even a recording of this meeting, that's basically 6 people that lost 1 hour and cost a few hundred euros at the company. So this one is mandatory. And we also just launched Dust inside Swan. So Dust is basically an AI agent builder that connects to several tools inside Swan. So or Notion, or CRM, or Slack, but also our internal documentation. It can go on several websites, and based on that, we create several agents on specific use cases. So for the sales team, it could be like, okay, you can like based on the discussion that we had on the CRM, build me a sequence, outreach sequence. But it could be also, okay, based on the use case and the data that I give you, build me a pricing sheet that I would send to the partner. It could be also, okay, I have a meeting with this prospect in 20 minutes. Tell me everything I should know before jumping to the meeting. So those are really specific use case where we leverage the LLM model, and that like they save at the end one week by one, that save hours. Those are really specific examples that we are using inside the revenue organization. But for the software engineers, we have use cases. For the KYC, KYB team, that is a big team at Swan, due to our compliance regulation, they are using AI more and more as well. So really, we try to put AI everywhere. The organization doesn't like just those repetitive tasks that don't bring value to anyone, and really focus on like, okay, I want my sales team to be in meetings and do calls rather than spending hours researching for new accounts or writing meeting summaries. That's basically the philosophy that we have, and that I think any RevOps or any organization should embrace right now.
Yeah, these are very tangible use cases, I'd say, and I guess a lot of the listeners can identify themselves with those use cases. Have you set them up, the agent or the LMM inside Swan, or is it a ready-to-use agent that you're using?
No. We have to set them up. Obviously, there are some of them have template and are quite generic, but most of them you have to connect through your own data. So I did some on my side, but we have now also someone that is dedicated to improving the AI at Swan. And his work is really to try to put, as I was mentioning, AI everywhere he could, not to replace people, but really do more with the same number of people.
Mhm. And when we're thinking about, let's say, a company, a young company, or also, let's say, a very conservative company that ultimately has to adapt, what would you give them as an advice to start with it with AI? How would you approach it if you were, for example, working at a 10,000 FTE company that has just heard of AI but has not adopted anything at all? How would you start?
They should come and see me. I'm doing freelancing services. I think that's a huge topic because it has to come from the top management. I think as an individual, it's really difficult to input this change because it has an impact on everyone. I have many of my friends working at those big corporations with thousands of FTEs, and it's quite astonishing to see the difference between where we are at with AI, with my friends in RevOps or in tech startup, compared to other organizations. Obviously, some big organizations have embraced AI from the beginning. I'm thinking about HubSpot. Now everything that they are doing is basically around AI, and I know that their top management, that's their core priority. But if the top management is not convinced, and I think it's also the case at Swan, we had a CEO that arrived quite recently, and one of our main tasks was, okay, how do we make AI not only separate initiative across the teams, but really like a strategy that we want to bring at Swan, like for everyone, and that's why we have this person dedicated to this project. But yeah, I think try to use it on your side if you can. talk with it with your manager, find some use cases that are saving time. People want to see like results. They don't want to see ideas. And then try to be a good seller. I think that's one of also my key aspect of the RevOps role that I didn't speak of. But you are not selling externally as a salesperson or account manager, but really you are selling internally, like your project and why you think it's a good idea to embrace rather a revamp of a tool or just AI in general.
And in that regard, as you mentioned, internal selling, is revenue operations at Swan an own budget center, or is your budget allocated in the sales organization? How is it?
So at Swan, and it's for the last data I've seen, it's like half the revenue operation teams are under the CRO. It really depends on the size, or it really depends on also like the sales motion, etc. But we are under our CRO that is handling marketing, sales, and RevOps, and we have a common budget with the revenue organization basically. It might change in the future as the team is growing and the company is growing, but at the moment, that's the way it is. Obviously, it makes it a little bit more difficult when we want to have like just try a tool or like have someone to help us on a specific topic. We have to go a bit further and try to ask for some budget, but that's not a big pain as the like compared to the size of Swan, the sales organization is slightly is like around 30 to 40 people, so it's not that big.
Mhm. And Bastien, you mentioned one important point earlier, that sales at Swan is takes a long time. So to win a customer takes a long time, and probably since it's an enterprise motion, it also involves multiple stakeholders. And one thing that's always very important for the sales reps is to get motivated and have a long breath, you could say, to really push these deals through the sales pipeline. So my question is, how do you use commissions currently at Swan? Yeah, for the sales team, for the enterprise deals, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah, first about multi-threading, I think moving from selling to startup, relatively short-term sales cycle compared to enterprise, it has definitely a big impact on the way we sell at Swan, because we went from like talking to the CEO directly and being at the same time the decision maker, the technical champion, and just overall the champion, to having like 10 different people involved with a deal. So yeah, in terms of commission at Swan, because we are selling to enterprise, we do it quarterly, not weekly, monthly. We decided to go with quarterly targets. There are two teams in the sales organization. We have the BDRs that are focusing on creating deals. So not only booking meetings, but going a bit further as well by creating deals, doing all the qualification themselves. We are following the MedPeak methodology at Swan. And then once the deal has been qualified and created, there is an handover to the A's. So like the BDRs, it's quite straightforward. They have targets for the quarter. When they achieve their targets, they get 100% of their bonus. Then for every extra percent, there is an accelerator that is uncapped. I'm a firm believer of uncapped commission. If you have someone that is overperforming in your sales team, it should be compensated for that. Rather, it's the fault of the RevOps team that have put low targets. But like I want to encourage the sales team to overperform, and if they can bring 350% of their targets, then they should get like the amount like based on your accelerator as well. So for them, it's quite straightforward. At the end of the quarter, I have a few Excel sheets that I just update based on the results. For the sales team, it's slightly different because obviously they have targets of closing that is based on amount. But as I was mentioning before, we are mostly usage based. So first we sign the partners, and those partners have a potential. But our monthly fixed fee or like a recurring revenue is a really small fraction of what we will make with a partner after 2 years, basically. So we compensate the AEs two ways. First, their achievement to target. For the deal amount, we have some system in place that basically calculate the potential of a deal based on the number of customer of our partner, the expected ARPU, average revenue per user, based on what we sold to the partner, based on the use case, etc. We have those pricing sheet ready. Then also we take into account what is their marketing budget of the partner, how many people they have dedicated to the team. So all those components, they create a deal amount that makes the sales, the account executive achieve his target. So that's the first part, and that's compute every quarter, such as the BDRs. But then at the end of the year, we also look at, okay, have they achieved their annually target, and then that's where they unblock or they unlock their accelerator. So for the BDRs, it's quarterly target only. For the sales team, it's quarterly target, but no accelerator, no decelerator, and then a quarterly target, annually target with accelerator.
Okay,
And it becomes a bit more difficult again. Sorry, it becomes a bit more difficult because we are usage based. They basically have like between 12 to 24 months to activate the deal, and on the deal they would get a fixed percentage on the revenue.
Okay, yeah, that was exactly what I was about to follow up. So if there's any like revenue share of the realized revenue, and it sounds like that. So for
Yeah.
everyone who's not familiar with that functionality, the account executive can basically decide the timestamp of when a deal is activated to his or her commission, and that timestamp is then considered as a base for the commission rate. Is there any customer success or account management team involved, and do they earn from realized revenue?
Yeah, so we have also the account management team that has a different commission system. They are based on the actual revenue of their accounts, and they have targets on like, okay, to what point they have to go, and based on that, they also have like an accelerator or decelerator. It's also at the quarter. So there is no revenue share for the account management team. It's only based on the achievement to target. So if they have a target of, I don't know, 150,000, and they do 180, they have this slight margin plus the accelerator. The only time the account manager can unlock this revenue share is when they do an upsell of new features, and that's where they can unlock the similar like commission bonus.
Got it. So it sounds really like a fintech commission model where it gets a little bit more complex, let's say for the AEs, because there's always some kind of activation involved. Otherwise, you won't earn the big bucks.
Exactly.
Bastien, at the end of our podcast, we always play a little game with our guests. And yeah, Gregor, do you want to start? So basically, how it works is we have A or B question. We have a question like A or B, and you just decide from your gut feeling towards which option you tend.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And of course, those questions are commission related. So just imagine that you need to create a new commission plan for your team, for your sales team. Would you make a focus on fixed income or on a commission-based model?
Commission-based modeling. I think that's the most important.
And then there's the option to have the agent participate at a deal or from a deal, like a deal, like a revenue share, or an on-target commission based on targets.
I think. So what was the first one? Only
revenue share, like 10% of the deal value.
No, I think having targets is key. Otherwise, there are some A's that might do the strict minimum, but that's what we are doing at Swan. At least we are having a mixed approach. I might be a bit biased.
That makes sense. And mixing commission models up is best practice, I think. But cool to hear. Would you then incorporate, if deciding for an OTE, for example, for an on-target earning or on-target commission, to incorporate a cliff, a minimum target amount to achieve so that sellers can earn any money, or would you work without a cliff?
No. Like when doing the commission model, we're working on the OTE multiple, trying to compute something that makes sense, and having a cliff is key for the motivation of the sales team and trying not to underperform. We have some revenue to attend at the end of the year, and having those targets guide also where we should land in terms of revenue, and I think this is key.
And then the last question, I think you already answered it throughout this episode: commission capped or uncapped?
Definitely uncapped. I want to reward the top performers as much as they bring to the company.
Very well. And so with these words, this episode, the first English one, ends. Bastien, it was a pleasure to have you and also to have you share all the insights into what your job looks like, what Swan is doing, what basically the sales process looks like for such a complex motion. And yeah, this was the ninth episode of the Commission Corner. So Bastien, thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.